Hello and welcome. If you are not really sure what an HTML semantic tag is and you don't know the difference between section and div or when to use a site, time or article, don't worry, you are not alone. Most developers skip over semantic tags like they are not important. For them, a div does everything, but not you, not after watching at least this video. Because in today's video, I'll teach you everything you need to know about HTML semantic tags. For example, what they are, when and how to use them, and even the subtle differences between tags like B versus strong and I versus EM. So if you want to make your code smarter and cleaner and stand out in the beard of ordinary developers, then watch this video. Alright, so let's start with the basics. You already know what HTML tags are, right? Well, semantic tags are also the HTML tags, but with one big difference. They carry meaning. These tags tell the browser and the developers what kind of content they hold. Let's take an example to understand this. Let's compare div and a header. Both can be used to group the child elements, right? But when developers look at a div, there's no clear idea what it's for. It's just a plain box. On the other hand, when you see a header, you immediately understand, okay, this is probably the top section of the page. Maybe it contains the logo or the navigation links, right? But that's not only the power of semantic tags. They don't just help developers, they also help search engines like Google. If you use semantic tags properly, it makes it easier for Google to understand your website structure. Like what is the main heading, what is the subheading, what's the body content, and so on. For example, if I search for Facebook on Google, how does Google know which part of the page is the title, which one is the description, and which one is the less important? Don't say by looking at the font size, because search engines don't care how big the text looks. They care about the HTML structure, and that's where the semantic tags comes into the picture. Okay, so now you know what a semantic tag or semantic element is, and yes, they are super useful, but that doesn't mean that you should use them everywhere. You should only use semantic tags when they actually make sense. For example, if you have two paragraphs that you just want to style together, like changing their background color or margin, then a div or span is totally fine. But if you are grouping elements that make up the bottom part of your page, like if you are including the copyright info, the contact links, etc., then you should use a footer. Got it? Okay, now you might be wondering how many semantic tags are and when should I use which one? If you check MDN or any official HTML documentation, you'll see hundreds of the HTML tags listed. So in this video, we are going to focus only on the most commonly used and important semantic tags that you will actually use in your real projects. So let's start. First of all, we have the header tag. The header tag is used to define the top section of the web page or even a section inside the page. It usually contains stuff like page title, logo, navigation menus, and so on. Then the next we have the nav tag, which is used specifically for navigation links. You can put it inside your header or even outside if you have a sidebar or a separate nav bar. But note this, not every group of links needs a navigation tag. Use it only for major navigation links. So the next we have the main tag. The main tag wraps the main content of your page, the part that is unique to that page. You can include stuff like blog posts, articles, or dashboards. It should only appear once per page and it should not include things like sidebar, header, or footer. Then the next we have is the section tag, which is used to group the related content within a page. For example, you can include a feature section, a service section, testimonial, FAQs. All these can be a section tag. It's usually a heading of its own and it can appear multiple times in HTML. Next, we have the aside. So this is for the site content and this is important. So you need to understand that if you have some content which is related to the main content, but that are not the focus. For example, if you want to show the ads, or if you want to show the related links, author biographies, or the sidebar tips, then you can surely use a side. Next, we have the footer tag that defines the bottom section of your page or a section. Just like we have the header, we also have the footer tag. So if you have information like copyright link, contact information, social media links, or the small prints, then you can use the footer tag.